Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday after Easter. I've noticed we have the Easter flowers that were on the Easter altar at the retreat here with us this morning. So lots of Easter is still remaining, as well as hopefully the awareness of the awakening, the resurrection within our own self. So let's begin with our questions. The voice of God calls us to awaken him. How will he find us when he comes? Awake and ready.
And when he asks us to dedicate ourselves more perfectly, how will he find us?
Awake and ready.
Let's begin our service with a responsive prayer. Heavenly Father,
Heavenly Father,
Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Friend, beloved God,
Friend, beloved God,
Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ,
Babaji Krishna,
Babaji Krishna,
Lahiri Mahasaya,
Lahiri Mahashai,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Swami Sri Yukteswar,
Paramhansa Yogananda,
Paramahansa Yogananda,
saints of all traditions,
saints of all traditions,
we lay the flowers of our devotion
we lay the flowers of our devotion
humbly at thy feet.
humbly at thy feet.
Enter into us by thy grace,
Enter into us by thy grace,
thy infinite light.
thy infinite light.
Help us to be pure and perfect channels
Help us to be pure and perfect channels
of thy light
of thy light
and thy wisdom,
and thy wisdom,
to thee, to the masters, and to all.
to thee, to the masters, and to all.
Also grant us by thy grace
Also grant us by thy grace
our perfect attunement
our perfect attunement
to our Guru and our line of Gurus,
to our Guru and our line of Gurus,
that we might reflect their grace
that we may reflect thy grace.
perfectly. Om.
Om.
Peace.
Peace.
Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated.
So this morning, I'll tell you the flow, since it's ever-changing. It's the same per month, but you don't have to remember what it is. We do. So this morning, in a moment, we'll have a chant, and then we'll go into meditation. And we will meditate until 10:45, at which time we'll come out with our affirmation on patience today. And then Mike will do the reading, offertory, etc. But at 11 o'clock, we are having dear friends, Krishnadas and Mantradevi, are going to come online from California. And I've emailed back and forth with them. They're so ready. You know, they love us. They love everyone, yes, but we are there. They brought us up, I think, as children when they came to Dallas in approximately 96. I'm not sure if that's exact, and stayed a few years here as our center leaders, as our teachers. And many of us, they were our first teachers, along with Pranava and Parvati. So they hold a special place in our heart always. And so we'll welcome them at 11 and turn it over to them and finish around noon. So that's it. Any questions? I feel like I've maybe forgotten something, but hopefully we'll be in a flow.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
And together we'll just lead each other through this wonderful satsang together this morning. And we will offer purification if you would like to do that after the chant. We'll put the mat down, and you all know all about that. So we'll do the hymn to Brahma and Twameva Mata, and then we'll see what chant comes next. Let's start by just checking our posture. Nice tall spine, openness of the heart in the eyes, relaxed and gazing, at the spiritual eye and chant 3 ohms together. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. Let's check our posture and make sure we're sitting upright with a straight spine. As we prepare to go into meditation, let's double inhale and tense the body. Do it slowly, more and more tensing, and then release with the breath. Feel the relaxation. Once again, and release. Eyes at the spiritual eye. One more time. Let's control the breath through the nose a few times, diaphragmatically inhaling. 1, 2, 3. The count is 6. And hold that breath. Slowly exhale through the nose as well, or the nose and mouth. Inhale and hold. Exhale. Start to feel the rhythm. Energy rising. Inhale. Holding that energy at the spiritual eye. Slowly exhale. Now you can continue on your own, using this pranayama, control of the breath, controlling the energy in the energy spine, up, ascending, holding, and descending. Very powerful to bring us more and more inward before we move into our practice of Hong Sa or whatever meditation techniques we will be using this morning. And we will offer the purification ceremony for those who would like to do that at the beginning of the meditation. Inviting you to stay in the stillness of meditation. Let's listen to these words from affirmations for self-healing by Swami Kriyananda. Today's affirmation is on patience. Patience, it has been well said, is the shortest path to God. To attune the heart to the rhythms of eternity, one must first adjust himself to life's longer rhythms. He should not allow his mind to become absorbed in concentration on the little ripples at the surface of the sea. Patience means also adjusting to whatever is in life, rather than wishing it were something else. Patience is a prerequisite for every type of success. For it is when we work with things as they are that we can change them to whatever we might like them to be. So let us now affirm. Please repeat after me with much energy. I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
nor yet the crashing waves.
nor yet the crashing waves.
I am the vast ocean deeps,
I am the vast ocean deeps,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
untouched by any superficial change.
untouched by any superficial change.
And this time in a normal speaking voice, and really pay attention to what this is saying. I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
nor yet the crashing waves.
nor yet the crashing waves.
I am the vast ocean deeps,
I am the vast ocean deeps,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
untouched by any superficial change.
untouched by any superficial change.
And this time with full concentration in a whisper, I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea,
nor yet the crashing waves.
nor yet the crashing waves.
I am the vast ocean deeps,
I am the vast ocean deeps,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
unaffected by mighty surface storms,
untouched by any superficial change.
untouched by any superficial change.
And this time, silently, filling your entire being with this vibration. I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. And we'll say this together silently one more time. I am neither the ripples at the surface of the sea, nor yet the crashing waves. I am the vast ocean deeps, unaffected by mighty surface storms, untouched by any superficial change. And let's pray now silently. Long have I called thee, Lord, but thou hast not answered me. Ah, but for what long eons didst thou endure my fickleness? In this life, Lord, and if need be through eternity, I will keep calling thee. Om Om. Peace. Amen. And we'll now have our reading.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to see each of you. These readings are from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita by J. Donald Walters, Swami Kriyananda. Deeds versus intentions. Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. Jesus Christ emphasized repeatedly the spirit, not the letter, of the law. In chapter 5 of the Gospel of St. Matthew, he speaks of the sin of killing and of the legal punishment attendant on that sin, but says that more important than the act is the desire to kill or to do harm. He shows that the sin of harmful desire goes beyond merely wanting to kill. My message to you, he said, is this: whoever is angry with his brother without cause already stands condemned. Whoever contemptuously calls his brother a fool shall answer for it to the Supreme Council. And whoever calls his brother an outcast of God shall be in danger of hellfire. Brother here means any other human being, for all of us in the highest sense are brothers and sisters, children of our one Father, Mother, God. The true self of one is the self of all. To hurt another is, even if one doesn't realize it, to hurt oneself. Swami Kriyananda in The Path recalls an episode in which the master, Paramahansa Yogananda, revealed his sense of identity even with the plants. One day, Kriyananda wrote, "We were moving a delicate but rather heavy tropical plant into position on the hillside. Our handling evidently was too rough, for Master cried out, 'Be careful what you are doing. Can't you feel it's alive?' To wish death to anyone, to wish even harm to another creature, is to deny in oneself the reality of that divine life of which all of us are manifestations. It is, in short, to deny the eternal truth proclaimed by the Bhagavad Gita in the 2nd chapter. The self is never born, nor does it perish. Once existing, it cannot ever cease to be. It is birthless, eternal, changeless, ever itself. It is not slain when the body is slain. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om,
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
And in just a moment, we will invite our guest online, Krishna Das and Mantra Devi. But first, we will have an offertory. If someone could please do that. Our offertory person is not with us this morning. And after the offertory, we'll just have a brief chant, a few announcements, and then we'll welcome online our guest.
Any great souls? Take what you have to offer, hold it in your right hand. Please pray with me. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
we offer to thee
we offer to thee
the fruit of our labors.
the fruit of our labors.
Bless this offering.
Bless this offering,
That it serve as a channel of thy light.
that it serve as a channel of thy light
To truth-seeking souls everywhere.
to truth-seeking souls everywhere. Om. Peace. Amen.
From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came,
for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again.
From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again.
From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again. From joy I came, for joy I live, in sacred joy I melt again.
So remaining in that Easter joy and the divine joy always, just a few announcements. This afternoon and next Sunday, Mike and I will be teaching the Discipleship Explored 2-week class. If you've already taken it, you are most welcome to take it again. And if you haven't taken it, certainly we have people registered and coming. So for that, it's from 1 until 3 o'clock this week and next Sunday as well. And next Sunday at 1 o'clock is our introduction to meditation. There's no cost for that. If you know anyone who's exploring or interested in meditating, that would be the perfect time to invite them to come here. And if you do that, be sure to stay and greet them, okay? And we will all greet them, but it's really sweet when a new person comes and they recognize someone as well as meet many other new people here. And I think that's enough announcements today. Francisco, or our guest online? They are. I got a thumbs up there. So before we welcome you, we're going to ask everyone to get up and turn your chairs. We have a giant screen at the back of the temple. And that way we can see you. There they are on the right. And then eventually Francisco will also adjust the camera and you can see some of these folks. And we'll ask you to talk, inspire us, and share with us for a while. And then we will have a microphone here where people here and online can ask questions to you. Okay? So we do have a few people who don't know who you are, although some of us know you very well. So please introduce yourselves a little bit more and maybe what you do around the village, and it's all yours.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a joy to be here with you. This is Krishna Das, and I'm Mantra Devi, and we live at Ananda Village. We both work at the Expanding Light, which is our retreat guest place, yoga retreat, and we've been around for a really long time. We came to Ananda in 1978, 79, and we've lived at the village a lot. We've lived in different communities. We've started communities in centers. We were in Dallas, in fact, in 1995 and helped start the center there. It was going for about a year when we got there and was in the beginning stages. And so we made a lot of dear friends that we still see around the center. And especially Supriya and Mike, they've been there since we were there. So it's been 30 years and it's still going strong, which is wonderful.
Recording in progress.
So we, as Mantra Devi said, we
serve at the expanding light. So we've always been in outreach, either off property or now that we're here, we've been at expanding light for many years, so people come to us. And so we've always sort of had our service with other devotees, people searching, coming to learn the teachings. So we teach programs. I also am the director for guest groups. Guest groups could come and hold an event here at Ananda Village, Expanding Light, and we provide lodgings, food, a meeting place, and I think it's a really nice service because people from other paths can come and experience the high vibrations of our teachings. So today's topic, deeds versus intentions, it's a really good one. It's kind of one of the ways it's kind of a barometer for how we're progressing spiritually. We could, in growing in understanding of, what our motivations are, what our intentions are, and the repercussions of those, the kind of the deeds, the actions that we perform. And it's kind of a spiral staircase, you might say, in learning. So it's, it starts with many of the teachings of the major religions, like, Christianity, the 10 Commandments, that tells us what not to do. Don't steal, don't kill. And the yamas and niyamas, the yamas particularly the controls, ahimsa, non-violence. So we could say through self-control, we do not do the wrong thing. That's kind of the beginning. And then you could evolve to do the right deed no matter what. Maybe even just out of habit or because you've been taught this. Okay, that is a good thing to do. But doing the right deed for the right reason is better, and doing the right deed with the right intention, with the right spirit. That's really what we're trying to evolve into. So it's been said, it's not really what we do, but it's the consciousness we do it with which we do it. And that's really important because God watches the heart. And we could, is it better to do a good deed or the right thing for the wrong intention? Or is it better to do something thinking it's the right intention but doesn't really turn out that well? Well, I think the latter is actually better, but we're in both at different times, depending on our level of understanding and what it is we're doing. But as I said, God watches the heart. I love the quote in the Bible where it says, 2 are in the field, they're serving, 2 are and one is taken and one is left. Or 2 are at the loom, one is taken, one is left. Meaning they're both, in a way, doing the same outward action, but where is their heart? Why are they doing it? The ones that are taken, meaning the Christ consciousness comes and uplifts them into that spirit, is what is meant there. So doing the right thing is kind of the goal, which is why meditation is very important, because meditation kind of uplifts us through our developing intuition. We need to tune into what God's will is in a certain situation, so that we could be guided by that will and not ego will. I think that's what it's meant, this reading today. It's kind of transcending egoic consciousness and striving to perceive, understand. Even if we don't understand, if we perceive what we think is right, the right thing to do, then we should do it. And that intention will be good. So good intentions, though, that saying is, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's seems kind of harsh, but what's meant there is we need to really understand and what our intentions are. So we have to make that effort to tune into what God's will is. Like this example in the reading where Yogananda was having that class with Sri Yukteswar on Patanjali, and a mosquito was, as he says, drilling its hypodermic needle into his thigh, and he raised his hand to execute the thing, and but he stops. That's self-control, not to do the wrong thing. But then Sri Yukteswar says, finish the job. And Yogananda says, Master, do you advocate, killing? And he says, no, not at all. But in your mind, you had done the deed. So it really starts in the mind. And I had this Whispers from Eternity reading we usually start with. This is a good one. It says, O Heavenly Trinity, Om Tat Sat, God the Eminent Father, or God the Transcendental Father, God the Immanent Christ Consciousness, and God the Holy Creative Vibratory Force, Om. Grant me wisdom to know the truth, and through my self-effort and knowledge of the law, let me climb the precious ladder of realization. To stand at last on the shining summit of attainment, face to face with the one Spirit divine. Grant me wisdom to know the truth, and through my self-effort. So that's how we grow, through repeated attempts. I love the quote in the Gita where it says, I lost it. Anyway, your shortcomings are forgiven. What we do right is registered. What our faults and deficiencies are made good by God if our attitude and if our attempt is sincere. So that's what Yogananda says is God, the two most important qualities. And I love questions like that because you search for the reason, the answer, and it could be different answers, of course. But for this, he said sincerity and devotion. Sincerity and devotion. That's how we climb the ladder. Be sincere, with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength, to try to tune into God's will and do God's will. And through that, God will, as I said, forgive our misunderstandings and shortcomings because our intention is there. However, Kriyananda talks about intention is good, but intention is defined more or less by wishes and desires to do the right thing. He says resolution is more important, and that we act on those wishes and desires and be resolute in our attempts to do God's will. And in a way, no matter what we do, with that, because with resolution comes determination, perseverance, stick-to-itiveness, steadfast on this climb of consciousness. And so in a way, whatever we do, whatever happens, we'll learn from that. And God watches the heart in the process. And so in a way, we learn from our mistakes. We learn from our shortcomings. But if we didn't do anything, we wouldn't grow and learn through that. There's a beautiful story, and you may have heard it. It's in the Indian tradition, and a woman, through her dedication and faith and duty, every day goes and gets water in these two pots on two pools, and she walks down this path. One of the pots is cracked, and the water drips as she walks, and along that track of the where the water hit the dry earth, flowers grew, and She didn't even know that and wasn't even necessarily carrying the water for that reason. But her faith and devotion and her dutiful, service, doing it selflessly, produced these flowers, and she didn't even know it. But from it came beauty, and gave the world beauty. So in a way, if we can just, proceed with the right intention, be resolute in our attempts to grow spiritually, do God's will, bring God's grace and beauty into this world through as being a channel for it, beauty will come from it. It's like the alchemy that turns sincere effort into grace and beauty and our love. So basically what we're doing on the spiritual path is an attempt to be ever more increasingly in tune with God and Guru, and do their will here on earth, be a channel for it, and we can't lose. Through the intention and through the resolute conviction to live a life in God, God watches the heart. God will, in time, with our own effort, we grow and learn and can do better, bigger and better things, but all for God, not for the world. We do it for God. So, in the teachings of the Indian caste system, in its truest sense, there's the Kshatriya. The Kshatriya grows ever deeper in his understanding to serve others, get over the selfishness and self-aggrandizement, do for others, and then we grow into the Brahman consciousness of do it for God. But those two are very high states, and as we learn to do whatever we do, more and more, in the consciousness of God, with God, for God, we grow and we can be channels for grace and beauty into this world.
Thank you. So, everything is consciousness. God made everything on all three worlds out of consciousness. And that's what we're made of. And out of consciousness, then you have energy, and then out of energy, it manifests into the physical. So everything starts with a thought. Everything that you do begins with a thought. And now that thought is according to your consciousness. So depending on what consciousness you have, those are the thoughts that you're going to attract to yourself. And this is such an important thing to realize, because your consciousness is dictating your life, and we don't even realize it. For those of you who have taken Raja Yoga and learned about the gunas are the states of mind, and they're from sattva, which is the very elevating, high states of consciousness, to the very rajasic, which is very active and very in the world and conscious, and then the tamasic, which is very low energy, the couch potato kind of energy. So we're always going between these consciousnesses, and we vacillate sometimes, and it takes training. It takes over and over again. Like Krishna said, it's your intention. It has to constantly be going in that direction in order to start manifesting the higher states of consciousness. And so everything we do, you have to think, what is my intention behind this? What is my state of consciousness? And the thing is, our consciousness can be high, and gosh, those problems don't exist. And then your consciousness starts going down a little bit and going lower, and pretty soon those problems are right there again, because those problems are living on that state of consciousness. And when you raise yourself up higher, you realize oh, how come I feel so good? How come today those problems aren't bothering me? Well, it's your consciousness. It's risen. It's higher than usual. And it's so important to start keeping it as high as you can. There's a school, a private school in Delhi, and it's owned by the Jain people, the Jain religion. It's bought with old Jain family money. It's a $5 million complex, and one of our members who lives in Pune right now, her parents are this principal of this school, and so how they get new students. So what they do is every year they invite students who are interested in being at the school, they invite them and their parents to the school. But they don't put out enough chairs for everyone. And so as people come in, they watch the students, or the students who want to be there. And they notice, some students come in and they notice that there aren't enough chairs, and so they go get another chair and they sit down. Or maybe they've already sat down, they look around, they get up and they go get another chair. Other students come in, sit down, and stay there. So who do they pick to be in the school? The kids who go get another chair. That's how they interview the kids. I'm sure it's a little more involved than that. The kids are being interviewed and they don't even know they're being interviewed. So this is God all the time watching us, you know? Do you go get a chair, you know? Or are you the one that just plops yourself down in the front? And so it's like our consciousness is always there to be read by everyone, especially God. And we need to just constantly be developing that. And okay, here's intention. One is, this is a lesson I learned when we lived in Dallas, actually. And it was one of my first leadership positions. I was just learning. This is 30 years ago. And I wanted to do everything right. So I'd always go, how would Swami do this? How would Master do this? What, I want to do it right. And I was a little rigid. And it's like I wanted me to do everything right, and I wanted everybody else to do everything right. And Swami came down to visit us, Swami Kriyananda, and he, I don't know how he knew, he just seemed to know. And one day he said to me, Mantra Devi, he says, remember to go by the Spirit, not by the law.
Letter.
Wow. Yeah, by the letter of the law. And, I've remembered that all my life, because it's like, okay, go by the spirit of it. We didn't have to do everything like to the letter exactly, but you have to balance that, doing something according to the spirit, but also according to what's right and according to how God wants it done, or how we think God wants it done. And another aspect of that is tuning into the different laws that we do have to obey. The physical laws, like everything is made on its level. Physical laws, if you don't take care of yourself, you're going to suffer for it. If you don't eat properly and keep all the physical laws in order, then you suffer that way. But spiritually, if you don't go by the spiritual laws, you'll suffer mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So, as Jesus said, when they said, okay, should we pay the taxes, they came to him, and they were trying to trap him. They're always trying to trap him into saying something that would convict him, basically. And they said, then should we pay the taxes? The Pharisees are saying to him. And he says, well, give me a coin. and he looks at the coin and he sees Caesar's picture on it. And he says, render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Render unto God what is God. So it's like, okay, you have to deal with life on the level that it is. But if you live on a higher consciousness, then you're going to find that things just come along. They go according to how they need to go. And if you can accept it at that level, then you can do something about it. Just like in the, was the affirmation this morning, when you say, accept how it is, and then you can change it. So you accept it, work with yourself. My chiropractor, who's an amazing man, he's in his mid-80s, it's like he's 70, and he has great energy, and he said to me the other day, he said, you know, I found that when I have the intention to do something, it takes me about a year and a half for it to manifest, like for it to not manifest, but for it to be a firm thing in my life. And the example that he used was, he said, I decided to eat 70% alkaline. And so he said, you know, that didn't happen right away. But after about a year and a half, he said, I realized I'm eating about 70% alkaline in my diet. And, you know, when I thought about that, I thought, yeah, isn't that true? And it's not something that should make you feel, oh gosh, it takes so long for anything to manifest. No, this is a process of you working towards something, having the intention. Have the intention you're going to meditate an hour a day. Okay, it doesn't happen right away. But then about a year and a half into it, you find, hey, I'm meditating that long now. And that's what is really now part of my life. So it's like, it takes a long time to go one direction, takes a long time to turn around and go the other direction. But if you keep putting energy into it, you find, oh, gosh, I'm much more closer to my goal. It's taken a long time. But, so, let's see, what else do I want to say? But most importantly, live for God and put God more important into your life. Because as we try to do what is the highest and go with our highest consciousness, we'll find that life follows that. That people feel that. That people are looking at you and saying, you're different now. What are you doing that's different? You know, what is your consciousness? Because negativity and positivity both have a momentum. And when you're going one direction with negativity, then it has a momentum. If you're going the different direction in positivity, then it has a momentum. And your goal should be to never, ever say anything negative. Now, you say, well, yeah, but I have to, you know, be discriminative. Of course we do. We not judgmental, but discriminating. What is right and what is wrong. But the difference between that and judgmentalness is that you have an emotional response to a judgment. And then you're saying, oh, that person is that way, and I don't like it. You can say, well, that person is that way, and it has no effect on you. Then you're just looking at things in a truthful way. So, you know, do you think that God doesn't see our egos and see our problems and see all that? Of course, He made our egos. And that's what we forget sometimes. We forget that God made us. So He knows every single emotion and response that we'll ever have. And when we share that with God, we say, God, help me with this. Don't think that He's not going to. He hears every single prayer, Yogananda said. But the prayer that he hears the most is the sincere from your heart prayer. And that's the one that he responds to. So that's what's important in our life, is to live for God and to live in a way that he feels your heart is going towards him. And that's what he looks at. You know, Krishna said to his most advanced disciple, Radha, he said to her one day, he said, Radha, do you practice yoga? And she said, oh, my Lord, I would love to practice yoga. I would really want to. But I can't stop thinking about you long enough to practice yoga. And he just smiled. That was the answer he wanted to hear. You know, and that's what God hears. God, I love you, even though I'm being bad. Even when you're being bad, share it with God. And then when you're being good, have a party with God. Bring God into everything. Say, God, you are the most important thing in my life, and I love you with all my heart. And so when it's time to leave your body and go back to God, he'll meet you in whatever form you love the most, and he'll be happy with the progress that you've made. So let's all just love God and love God in each other, for that's what's most important. So God bless you all.
Thank you so very much for sharing. I'd like to open this up now to anyone online. You can open your microphones if you're online and make comments, ask questions, or just say hi to longtime friends with us. Or anyone here in the temple, we have the microphone back here. So comments, questions? I'm going to say y'all look good.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Like 30 years, gosh.
30 years later, y'all still look good. And I had to break the ice, right? Oh, here's Linda.
Hi.
Hi, Linda.
Hey, how are you? Yeah, I just wanted to share, I had a really interesting dream the other night that I've been thinking about ever since then. And in this dream, I was above and behind myself, just watching myself move through the world.
Oh.
And I realized that even though I was paying attention to what was happening, like this is what I'm seeing happening, what I wasn't seeing was the things that weren't happening, like things that were just being sort of cleared out of my path and being resolved around me without my necessarily being aware of it. And I've been pondering that ever since, and I think sometimes we have to remember that the things that God is taking care of, things that we're not even aware that it's being taken care of. It's a problem that didn't happen, you know. It's the car that didn't hit you, you know, or the whatever that never occurred, and you're just not aware of it. But yet, you know, sometimes that's even more important. So anyway, I just thought I'd share. I thought that was fun.
Wow.
Oh, lovely. Thank you for sharing that, Linda. Isn't that so true? God is working overtime for us and we don't even know it.
I love that dream. I had this, I was an old fan of Popeye, you know, when we were growing up. Because he was a righteous man. He was, he did everything right, you know. He was dharmic. So olive oil, you know, there was a scene where she's walking in the city and there's a construction site, but she's sleepwalking. And she steps onto a beam and the beam goes up with a crane. She's walking along the beam and then it meets another beam and she walks onto that beam and she, you know, and then it steps down to another one and then the other beam goes down on the ground. She steps onto the ground. She's still sleepwalking, you know. Through that, you know, which could have certainly killed her easily. But I was thinking that's a bit like us, you know. We are semi-awake, really, compared to the masters. And there's stuff happening around us all the time. And through the grace of God, you know, and the more we live attuned to and try to tune ourselves to Master, I think that protection is happening around us all the time, and things we're not even aware of. So it's a beautiful thought to think about, you know.
Yeah, I often think about what I'm not aware of, right? So we're in the moment, being as aware as we can be in the moment by the grace of God. And then this thought will come in from left field. It's like I wasn't even thinking about this or that person. And here comes the thought, and it's like I pause and say, well, where did that come from? Am I supposed to be tuning into this? And then I say, Lord, you need to help me. I got too many thoughts. And he says, ah, ha, 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 there you go. Too many thoughts, you know? And what do we teach in meditation? And you just do your best to learn, even in daily living, to have that inner focus, that inner awareness, and not 10 thoughts going on at one time. I'm training you to live life that way. And, you know, what is the highest priority thought? That I am one with God, and therefore behave accordingly. As Sri Yukteswar said, I think it was, right? That if we realize, yeah, that divine presence will then act like it. Be kind. Oh, you know, and none of us are perfect, but I love the fact that when I don't want to say perfect, I don't care for that word too much because it pushes my buttons, because I wanted to be that long time ago, and now I don't want to be perfect. Uh-oh, they're laughing because they know me. That now it's just, I want to be aware of the divinity and act accordingly, you know, with all the peace and love and calmness and wisdom that we know about, all the attributes of God. Anyway, it certainly is a, I don't even know the word. It's a life to be lived with joy, and once we want to know God, I'm so glad Master says we're very, very, very close, because I don't want to do this for too many more lifetimes.
Yeah, and you know what? That's
What?
a very important thing, and that brings up the point of gratitude. You know, you really have to keep realizing how blessed we are to even want to know God. And here, all of us are sitting here talking about this subject. We're looking toward God for our guide, and that's amazing. And so we need to bring into our minds gratitude, and that actually is another point that I was going to make when I was talking, was that feel gratitude. If you feel your energy starting to tank a little, you know, and go down, thank God for something in your heart. Say, God, I am so grateful for whatever it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And just say thank you to God over and over again. Because try this right now. Sit here, close your eyes, and feel grateful for something. Okay, now feel grateful for another thing. Do 4 more things that you're grateful for. Okay, you can open your eyes. And so, what happens when you feel grateful? Your energy goes up, and there's no room for anything else. All there's room for is gratitude and energy going up. So try that, and after a while, that becomes your state of consciousness. That's what we're going for. So those little things that can train us.
Any other questions or comments?
Sure.
Good morning, I'm Francisco. Thank you for sharing with us today. I wasn't at the temple, but I had to leave because my son has a baseball game. Yesterday I was doing some yoga class and we were doing the pose that you're looking to the sky and say, I'm free, I'm free. But I couldn't feel it breathing. Like I tried, okay, I'm free. But in my mind, I was, yeah, but I have to go to work. I have to do the groceries. I have to. I kind of couldn't connect to the freedom. Not sure. I've been in the past for a long time, but lately, I kind of forgot how to feel that freedom. Not sure if you could give me some thought about it so I can.
You're not alone there. And all of us can have that sense, when we're affirming something that we don't actually realize or even feeling. But that saying, fake it until you make it. You just have to, you have to put out the energy and affirm. That's what an affirmation is all about. You're affirming a truth, and that truth will eventually manifest in your life with repeated attempts. And sometimes we're marginal in our success, and other times we're really getting it. It's like a back two, ahead three, back two, but we stay the course, and our whole life in a way is a one big affirmation, towards living more and more in the light, more and more trying to feel God's love and be a channel for that. I love the Ananda Yoga for that reason. Like, the Jhana Shavasana, the left and right and all around, life's harmonies are mine. That's the bubble we can attempt to live in, but is there harmony all around? It doesn't seem like it, but it can be for us if we're going to hold to that consciousness and stay in that bubble. And when we, sort of like in a petri dish, we meet another devotee in our bubble, the bubble merges, You draw that through your magnetism, and it will be true.
But also think about what you're affirming. And you say, when we affirm, I am free, what does it mean? Maybe it's too big of a step. If freedom means total liberation to you, what does I am free mean? I am free in my heart. I am free in my mind to not have to worry about all these things I have to do. So pick something that is more perhaps attainable. It's like, what is it? I am free. It's a little bit nebulous. What does it mean? So what would be another one? What would it be something that, if instead, well, like I just said, do gratitude. I am grateful to you, God. I am grateful for all these errands you give me, for these beautiful children, for, having to take care of things. I'm grateful for that. And then I bet if you do that, you'll feel uplifted. Whereas when we say, affirm something that, well, how often do most of us feel free? We've got too much going on. And so maybe there's other things you could do that are still in the affirmation, and then that's training yourself to always feel that, and someday you'll be free. Of course, Yogananda said, if you really believe it, you're free right now. But some things, the groceries come into
Something we to be grateful for is that we are aligning ourselves with the masters, because they always set the bar absolutely at the very top. And if they didn't, when we reach the lesser summit that they might, give the world, then we'd say, is that all there is? And there is more. So they just give it right to the top, so that as we climb, we know, the ultimate, what the ultimate really is. They've given us that, so we don't plan what we're going to say. And I was going to speak about the laws. There's the laws of man, okay? Man's laws aren't always just. Man's laws, to some extent, need to reflect divine law, and they do, like keep the Sabbath holy. But the Pharisees said to Jesus, you're healing people on the Sabbath. That's against our law. And he says, if you had a sheep and it fell in a ditch, wouldn't you get it out? That's the spirit of the law. And then there's natural law. It's all scientific. It is cause and effect, and we need to understand those laws, and we need to abide by those laws to an extent. But there's a higher law. There's God's laws. As devotees, that's what we're trying to draw and live in. God's laws. Like the woman walking along, dripping the water on the path. She didn't even know it. But she was putting out this beauty, great cause beauty in the world. And so there's like an alchemy that takes place within our own selves. When we could live with our lives with seeking ever greater attunement with God and Guru, and try to feel God's love in our heart, that's going to uplift everything. That, because of the greatness of your love, you are forgiven. He didn't say all the effects of the causes you've done, all your karma is forgiven. He just said because of the greatness of your love, you're forgiven. So the God's laws transcend all other laws, and those are the laws we want to live by.
So I have a question. So wonderful to see both of you. It brings to mind all the beautiful times that we had when you were here, and just a tremendous boon in my life. And my question was about, well, really it was just a recent observation that when a person meditates twice a day, that you're not very far from when you've been in feeling blissful and free and all the wonderful 8 attributes and all that. It's like, when you're doing your kriyas in the morning, your Mahamudra, your Jyoti Mudra, all that Hong Sa and meditating, and then, during the morning you're not far from that, and then you do it in the afternoon, and it's like you're never very far from living in the bliss. And it's like you're always living in the bliss that way. And so to me, that's just a great boon also. And so I really appreciate what y'all have set in motion some time ago for Dallas. I was lighting the candles this morning, and I remember finding out that you had to leave when you were lighting some candles, Mantra Devi, and you were all going to need to go back to the village. And it's just been so wonderful to, that you got us started, and it's such beautiful process of finding a different place and getting people ready and teaching us about the festival. And I have all those notes and I read them. And it's just an amazing miracle that happened in Dallas. So, and it's important to be our highest self, not only in the beginning of the path, but in all of the path, all the way to the end. And there's always a further love, a further awakening, and a further divine friendship.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We came to Dallas to just continue what Swami Kriyananda started. And then you all took it on after we had to come back here, and you kept it going. And so it's so beautiful when we're all instruments for God in that way. And that's our only desire in life, is to be instruments for God in that way, because that's what makes us happy. And I'm glad you said that, Mike, about meditating more often in the day. Meditating in the morning, then the afternoon, and Master said never go to sleep without connecting with God. And so even if you're really tired, take a few minutes, say a prayer, just really connect with God before you go to sleep. And then when you get up, that's the first thing you do. And yes, it's work at first, but then, like you say, it's like living in that bliss all the time, because that's what makes us happy. That's why we do it. So thank you all for carrying on and being soldiers out in the field. That's what God is. It's so important right now, as we all know, don't have to tell you that right now there's so much tumultuousness out in the world, and especially this country, and we just need to be lights. Every time you meditate, it helps. Every time you send out the light, it helps.
It does.
I just want to add on to that, that about, the bliss throughout the day, and I'll never forget this. It seems so minor, but I'm still going to say it. And this was probably 25 years ago. You guys had already left. We were already doing our best to keep, Master's work going here. And I was still in corporate America and had to drive a lot to work and back. And I was on 635, and I wasn't one of the kindest, let's say I reacted. I drove defensively, but when other people didn't, I wasn't so kind in my thoughts to them. And I won't tell you what I said, because that's not appropriate. But I'll never forget this. A car did what they always do, and it it came in front of me very close to my front of my car, and I tensed up, and instead of saying, right, I said, oh.
Yes.
That you've heard this story, yeah. And it really, I just got chill bumps again, because that's like one of those things, Linda, that I didn't even know was taken away from me by God's grace and my efforts, I guess, to meditate. I don't have that reaction on the freeways anymore. When I'm in traffic, it's all okay. Even if I'm going to be late for something, which used to be a big deal if I was late. It's like those things have just melted away. And that's the grace of God, but we're putting in the effort, I think, also. So anyway,
It takes training.
Oh yeah.
It takes training, and then all of a sudden you notice, like my doctor said, a year and a half later, you're actually doing it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We don't even notice that we're training ourselves. And we're training ourselves in whatever direction we want to go. It's constant training. It's so easy to create a bad habit, isn't it? All of a sudden there it is. And it takes time, but we're all doing it.
Do we have time for
Yes,
questions?
we do, if you do.
Yeah, we're
Okay.
here for you.
So who's online? I can't see from the back of the room here.
Patricia Reed.
Oh, hi, Patricia.
Patricia, let them judge the time. No, it's-
Is that the only one? Okay. So, Patricia, if you have anything to say, you're welcome to unmute yourself and meet, because Patricia wasn't around when you guys were here, but now she's our master gardener and takes care of the gardens and the flowers and just beautifies all of our
Just a total
surroundings.
joy and upliftment, as we all are in our own ways.
Well, it's the truth.
That's lovely to hear. And thank you, ministers, for joining the group today, and thank you for your inspiring talk. It was much appreciated, your presence.
Okay. Thank you, Patricia. Anybody here? Question, comment?
But it's been beautiful, so it's not necessary. We can.
Exactly. We're
When
not
I
gonna...
used to work, it was like, if you ever stopped 10 minutes early, everybody loved you in a meeting.
Isn't that the truth?
But it's been wonderful to visit with you, to see you, and several of us are coming to the centennial, so hope to see you then. So.
Yeah. And some of us are staying here and
To
holding,
hold the fort
holding down the fort,
Mhm.
and then that person, me, will come later after the centennial.
Yeah, but it's really nice having Maya Tree
Oh.
here and Mark at
Oh,
the Nanda
yeah.
Village. Yeah, yeah, we see them pretty often.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Well, it's been our joy, and we hope to see you again here at the village or in satsang like this in the future. And we just wish the very highest and best for you on your journey.
Yes.
Thank you.
Really quickly, I have a
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Zuni,
Come
go
to the microphone.
would want to come to the microphone?
Yes, you have to come to the microphone.
They can't hear you. Well,
Hold on, this is Zuni Lasoya.
Yeah.
Been around a long
Good
time.
afternoon, beautiful souls. Thank you for your inspiring thoughts. And I have been thinking all along when I was listening that if we, there are a lot of people in the world that they think that the intentions are the right way because they have been taught by the parents and we learn by imitation. And they could be very adamant about that the righteousness that they are, and then in that kind of ignorance, I think that probably that's what the situation of the world is, because I am in my horse and my horse is the right way, and then I am not going to try to get down of it or see anything else around. So when ignorance is taking place on all those decisions, how these people can be not judged, but how you will consider it, the ignorance of having the spiritual right choices, as opposed to the one that they are living for those rules. So, I don't know how one can operate with in a situation where everything else around you it have been done by ignorance, and they think that they had the right intentions, but they cannot see it any other way. Even it's like they are believing that they are doing the right thing, but they're
Right. So the basic question
this
is,
what do you do?
so how do you
God-
live?
How God regards us, the ignorance of I don't know.
So perhaps it's how to stay in our center when we are really surrounded a lot by society, by family members, and things who think they're doing right, but not.
We were talking about right intention, but it's a lot of around us that they think that they are doing the right thing, but
Yeah.
they are not. So how in the spiritual path can we operate with ignorance? I guess I don't know.
How can we function?
We get the idea.
Okay,
Thank
you.
great.
Not
Thank
easily.
you.
Not easily.
Not, meaning the answer is, it's difficult.
Okay. We live in a world where people are, again, living at different states of consciousness, right?
Oh,
And your family, all those people around you, they've learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, and it keeps being passed down, that same level of the things I learned from my parents, I have learned since they weren't right. And so that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to uplift the consciousness of this country, of this world, and it starts with us. As Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. That's what we have to do. We can't change other people, but sometimes they do change if you change. And not by telling them what to do, not by being preachy, not by being judgmental, but by being an example. I used to teach a course, it's called Inner Peace and Tranquility, how to achieve inner peace and tranquility. And giving a lot of the techniques of this path. And one woman, she wrote to me afterwards, she said, Mantra Devi, I'm doing all the things that you told me to do, and my husband is changing. You know? And he had been a problem to her before. But she says, my husband is changing because she is changing. And so as she changes now, I say that's in like a marriage situation. But when you're in a family situation like that, well, they're probably not going to change, you know, a lot. People don't change a lot. It takes a long time to change, usually, not always. Sometimes it's quick. But you have to just keep loving them and keep, most importantly, keep really, really fast to your own beliefs and what you believe is right. And you be the example. And so even though other people think this or that is right, you know, just quietly don't say anything, or quietly leave the room, or if that's not possible, just only respond to them if they say something positive and uplifting. Otherwise, don't give them energy. And is that addressing someone, you know, meditate more and to be centered?
Yeah, Zuni's saying yes, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, thank you for, you put the
Was
fingers
that,
in the.
was that mainly her family environment, or like
Yeah.
at work, or any environment in general?
Family.
Family.
She's
Mhm.
saying family.
Family, yeah.
Yeah, and we
That's
know her very well, and she's really trying to do a great job and just be there. But I love what you said. Don't even say anything. Just be the example.
Just give them
And if
the
you
lo-
need to
give them
turn
love.
away and walk away with respect, not out of, you know, no, can't do that. So that was, I think, perfect. And she's saying thank you. I would like you to meet, she's getting ready to come in the back door. Have you all met Jocelyn Villeda, who is our administrator?
Yeah, our new administrator after Marjorie
Has-
left is coming in the door. Her husband had set up all the computer stuff and TV, and they got a little 4-year-old, so
Ask her to
now
come.
she's coming. Okay, we'll get her to come. And they have plans to come out as a family with the kiddo in intent to be to make sure they could be there. You know, they'll be in a tent.
In it.
Hi.
Can
We're
you
putting you on the spot.
please come here? We
We'd like to introduce you to Mantra Devi and Christian Das and vice versa. This is
Hi, how are you?
Jocelyn.
This is Jocelyn.
Hello, Jocelyn.
Thank you. Nice
Thank
to
you for
see
being
you.
behind the scenes and making everything run
Yes.
Yes.
so smooth.
Thank you so
Totally.
much, and thank
Yeah.
you so much for joining. I had the honor to meet you in the YTT program last year. What his name?
Yeah.
Christian Das and
Yeah,
Mantra Devi.
yeah.
Mhm.
Remember, you're a little far away, I can't
Oh yeah,
see.
from the speaker, yeah.
Right.
Maybe
Here?
you can move it up.
No, they can't see.
Maybe I can
Oh, okay.
come closer.
Well,
Yes.
there.
There.
Okay, good.
Yes, now you're looking familiar.
That helps.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
So Jocelyn
That was a
and her
good one.
husband
See you again.
Francisco have to play tag with their 4.5-year-old, meaning he has a ball game. So now Francisco went to do that. So she's here to take care of us, sort of.
Talked earlier.
Yes,
Oh, nice.
yes. And she's going to set up the slides for the class. So they really take care of us so well. And serving God. Thank you so much. It is
And
noon.
we, the other people we can see, 2 women and a man who I don't know if we know, or do we, and I'm just not seeing you very clearly.
Why don't you say who?
I'm Eric.
That's Eric Shaw.
Eric Shaw.
Eric Shaw,
See you guys.
And Cecilia is next to him.
Cecilia. Mhm.
And then Carolyn. Laretha,
And
can you come
Carolyn.
say hi to them? Would you mind?
And Laritha is
Well,
over there
no.
out of view. Our
They
beloved
would-
Laritha
Hello,
is
I'm
here.
Carolyn.
Do you all okay, that's Carolyn.
I've appreciated hearing what y'all have to say. You know, I can keep learning every day. And I've been here for 10 years, and it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place to heal your heart. And it's my place.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Well said.
Hi, I'm Celia. And I didn't want to put you on the spot, but a thought that I had was like, you know, it's always about the grace of God. So I was like, well, it would have been so nice if we had that extra time before we, you know, kept going. If we could just stop and finish off with just a minute of silence to feel the presence radiating through all of us here. So that's just the thought that I had. I thought it would have been a nice.
So I was going to suggest that before we
Yeah.
end.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's do that now.
I'm going to let the energy congeal.
You don't want to?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you all remember Laritha Booker? Was she here when you were here?
Absolutely, Laritha.
Well,
Absolutely.
She's around the corner, but she's,
Inward.
we're not going to insist that she come on camera, but she's waving and saying hi.
He comes almost everywhere.
Yeah.
Hi, Loretta.
Hello, Laritha. So that was a good suggestion.
We'll let
let's
you
the
close this
energy
out.
Kind of congeal, you know, in our hearts and in the satsang that we're sharing, that we've shared today. Have some silence. And let's all feel like through our own consciousness and our own individual connection with God and Guru, the Masters, Divine Mother, in each one of us a bright light shines at our heart center, and that light radiating outward, vibrations of love and peace, mingling together, reciprocating this love and light, making it stronger, and offering it out to the world, to all thirsty souls, to all troubled spots in the world. Let's rub our hands together, chanting Om 3 times. God bless you all.
Bless you all.
Thank you. Bless you.
Much gratitude.
Again. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, dear ones. Namaste.
Bye-bye. See you in July.
Yes.
Cynthia.
Yes,
Awesome.
ma'am.
Yes.
Recording stopped.
I love seeing your home, if you still hear me. No.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, goodness. Oh, shoot. So can we get some paper towels
I
now?
will. My apologies. Don't see me.
I'm gonna ask you to help. Whenever you see this open, like if this, when I came in, it was open,
Yeah.
that means it's been open since they traveled here. No, the bellows stretches out more. And you know we do this to close it. But it does, and I'll tell